Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Day After podcast and our sub-show LYNCHPIN, where we've agreed to watch and review every David Lynch film in chronological order. As always, I'm here with Mike.
Hi,
everybody.
And
today we're discussing 1990's Wild at Heart, released in 1990, 1 year before I was born, to begin criticizing this man.
Oh my god. I have to say, I am so glad that I had no idea what I was getting into.
Not a single review would have aided your decision about whether you would like to watch this movie.
And okay, honestly, if anyone's listening, I want to say go watch this, not because I'm like recommending it because it's a good movie, but I want you to have this experience of watching this movie and going, what the fuck am I watching?
But the problem is I don't even want to recommend it to you guys on that merit. I don't want to recommend like you're gonna see what's going on, because yes, there are some what the fuck moments, but instead of coming out in a solid drip, it comes out with the same consistency of there's a plumber working on your sink, and occasionally it'll come flooding out, and then the plumber will go on lunch break, and you won't get anything for half an hour near the end of the movie.
Or then there are other times where it's like a honey drip where it comes out and drops.
Huge, enormous flash powder drops with topless women. Guys, this was we'll warn you at the beginning and at the end. The movie after this is the Twin Peaks movie, which we do not feel qualified to answer. So we're going to be skipping that one and moving on to the next one in line. We will tell you that this was made because David Lynch, according to Wikipedia, needed a break from Twin Peaks, so he made this movie.
I wonder if that has anything to do with my hope that the behind the scenes of this movie was a blast. I can't verify that. It comes across like this movie was fun to make.
I really hope so, because otherwise it's a fever dream I don't want to have again.
Like those scenes where Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern are just dancing, I hope that they had many, many takes.
I hope so as well. I feel bad for Laura Dern with a similar diet flavor that I feel bad about Shelley Duvall. That they're both really well-adjusted people now, but I worry that like they have one big thing, and then I'm like, did David Lynch hurt you? And David Lynch is a swell guy, but David Lynch likes cowboys, and David Lynch likes the southern United States. Guys, this is a movie about Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern, two sweethearts who were very madly in love when Nicolas Cage accidentally kills a guy who tries to jump him at the beginning of the movie. After spending some time in prison, they get back out and try to run away together at the behest of their weird-ass wizard mom, don't ask, and decide to go to California together. And that's the plot.
As some hitmen follow them.
Well, a hitman. I mean, Willem Dafoe.
He hires people.
I don't care about those people.
Okay.
And then Willem Dafoe shows up, but I don't care. I'm starting to realize I might not like David Lynch.
This would. I'm sorry. I am definitely not the person to defend him, because I would need to like him a lot more.
But David Lynch is, in terms
like
of
the criticisms that you have against him, I'm kind of on board with you. But I know that there's people who absolutely love him, and I kind of get their perspective. But I don't have enough emotional energy to defend their point of view.
In terms of subject matter and closeness to it, people that are fans of this movie, the David Lynch fandom, are so close geographically to getting help from the Tim Burton fandom. They almost match. The energy is so close, but it's just off-putting enough. This is such a backstory, everybody. We had an extremely difficult time finding a legal way to watch this movie. It is not available on YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, anything. So we had some close misses with some British wildlife documentary. It's hard to find this movie, and I can kind of see why now. But when we would find online, buy this DVD, send it to your house, and we would go look at reviews, it had glowing reviews, but only from people who Googled buy a DVD copy of Wild at Heart. People that had to went and search this movie to give it glowing masterpiece reviews.
I can definitely see this being a cult favorite of the weirdos who are looking for the underappreciated work of Lynch and going, yes, I know that everyone likes those one, that one, and that one. But but really, guys, you should look at this underground classic. There's a
Is everything David Lynch ever made an underrated gem? Take me back, please, to The Elephant Man. Please. It's so quiet and reserved and well put together. Why in the fuck face? That's why I blame David Lynch on you. I leave these days mad. And I know you said don't podcast angry. I'm not angry. I'm like happily
grumpy.
I'm happily furious.
And this is indulgent with its Lynch-isms. Like I lost count of how many weird singing scenes there are.
As singing, that's in the same way that people will point out to me after the fact phallic imagery. I'm like, of course that was a David Lynch thing. The singing, the cowboys. Nick Cage, you can have your Nick Cage stuff. David Lynch does not.
Yeah, he doesn't own
credit
you
for that. He doesn't own jumping on the bed. And thank God he asked to be in the. They interviewed him. Why did you take this role? And number one, money, I guess. But number two, he's like, I really like overly rebellious romantic characters. And as soon as David Lynch read the book upon which this was based, he was like, I need Nick. Because they both went to the same diner that they really like. And they met each other very frequently. And as soon as he read that book, he said, I need Nick to be my sailor. So I'm glad they have a good working relationship. This motherfucker's been in 100 movies, and if he has a nice, heartwarming story about David Keith Lynch, I'm all for it.
Okay, wait, so this is... Okay, I gotta say about... There's parts of Lynch that I do really like, but one thing I think that he's... with the exception of Elephant Man, he's really bad at is... sincere, uplifting, moving emotions.
Interesting.
Like, for example, the one... Sorry, Laura. the scenes where Laura was on the bed looking at the horse clock, and like there's this lamp shining on her face as if it's some like heavenly source of it feels fake. And this happened in Blue Velvet too, where every time he tries to come across as like have a sincere moment where, no, I'm not trying to be weird. I'm trying to be like romantic here.
It comes very empty.
Yeah. To do a movie about over the top romantic couple going on a journey on the road and why did he pick? Because he can't. He's not very good at that.
David, you're not very good, are you? No. David has talent, shit. But that's a frequent criticism of really schlocky melodrama television dramas. Is that how will I make this audibly more dramatic? Let's just put 15 seconds of silence in between each line of dialogue.
Yeah, and a lot of the dialogue scenes drag. This movie is over 2 hours long, and a lot of it accumulates from dialogue, particularly like Cage's and Dern's dialogue, which is not that good.
You will experience, Mike put it really well, a very odd time dilation in this movie, because I, for the first time in a while, was excited to do LYNCHPIN weekly, and when it begins with just a rock and roll fight scene followed by just some heavy metal crap, and the token shot of the camera pointed at the yellow line on the highway as it zooms past like a hot summer asphalt, you get excited, you get extreme, you know David's weird, you're on board.
Yeah, the first hours of this is like that.
And then it feels like the child who is making this movie had 90 days over summer vacation to write this essay, really did some good work 5 days in, then put it in his backpack and forgot about it for 80 days. Yeah, and then came back and said, I gotta write another hour?
I think when they get to Texas, this movie slows down.
It dries up like an arid wasteland where we can't fucking find any good music on the radio.
And like the one thing about the second half of the movie that I find notable is William Dafoe's character, but he can only do so much.
I was waiting for him to show up. I like the Green Goblin.
I like William Dafoe, yeah. And this is, I have to say, God, okay, he's really good at finding ways to creep you out.
David or Willem?
Both, but I went William. And his character, I'm just going to call him Meth Baby Teeth, man.
The prosthetics are fairly creepy, yes.
And he has this scene with Laura Dern, which for me is one of the strangest rape scenes I've ever seen. And not so much physically, but like emotionally, where he attacks Dern
in her hotel room, yeah.
Like he gropes her and forces her to say to him, "Fuck me,"
and then I will leave you alone.
And then she does, and by that point, as Johnny is groping me, she's kind of into it, and then he backs off and goes, "Well, can't right now, honey. I'll get back to you later." And it's like you've been groped by a cartoon character.
You really have, and honestly, I don't want to say subtext, but like metatextually, I feel like the writers have groped me there. It's such an intentional mood whiplash. I don't know how to feel. Willem gives me weird feeling. Guys, we have jumped over weird moods. The general plot of this is that my mom doesn't agree with me being married to Nicolas Cage, so she hires a hitman, realizes I should not have hired that hitman, and go try to stop the hitman, but that falls apart. Now we're running away from the hitman, and then we stop for a while.
A while.
Eventually we get into, you got to provide for that baby, and that's interesting, but there's a weird time dilation in this third act that I don't think can be fixed.
There were moments where I was like, okay, 30 minutes left. I thought 20 minutes had passed. It had been 8.
Yeah.
And the last act of this movie is completely unneeded. It's like Cage goes to jail, comes out of jail. It could have ended with jail.
Yeah.
And then he meets up with Laura Dern, goes with Laura Dern and Kid, decides, I don't want to, I'm going to leave, guys. And this movie ends with what the fuck is that ending scene? Where he is walking down a street, he's surrounded by gang members. For some reason, they're mad at him. They punch him. Oh, he calls them faggots. He gets knocked out. And then he has a vision of the good witch from the Wizard of Oz,
who drops down upon really epileptic special effects. That's actually my least big problem with this scene. Says, you know what? You really do like your girl. You should go be with her. And then she leaves. The gang rematerializes, stands up. I'm really sorry I called you homosexuals, but I need to leave. And then
why were they there in the first place?
They did a fucking Grease style jump on the cars to get your girl.
He runs over a traffic jam.
A traffic jam.
And then gets Laura Dern out of the car and sings an Elvis song that he promised he would only sing to his wife.
Which is
it's like 20 minutes, slow 20 minutes that is not needed.
This TV Tropes really nailed it. This is a movie about Elvis songs and the Wizard of Oz. Guys, this movie has grade school hang-ups about metaphors relating to Frank L. Baum's Wizard of Oz. It's a mess. To the point where that comedy rape scene ends with an insert of Laura Dern clicking her heels together. Asking to go home. Why?
Did you put that there?
I didn't want to tell you there was Wizard of Oz like references in here. I wanted you to get it organically, but there's no getting it organically about this. Did you get it, Mr. Lynch? Because I can explain it to you if you did not get it.
Well, a ram headbutting you is technically organic, so that's about the subtlety of the Wizard of Oz references.
Okay, that's the subtlety of the Wizard of Oz references. They exist. I acknowledge them. I don't want to focus on that. I would like to focus on candidate number 1 for my favorite movie fun fact of the entire year. During this entire movie, Nicolas Cage, wears a snakeskin jacket, which he says is a testament to my individuality and personal choice. And I'm like, Michael, would you like to hear a fun fact? That is Nicolas Cage's actual jacket, which he requested from David Keith Lynch that he wear in the movie, because Nicolas Cage is a gigantic fan of Marlon Brando.
That's like a wardrobe fact on level with Clockwork Orange and the jockstraps.
Yeah.
Like, no, that was not the director's choice. That was the actor.
Actually, that was the director's choice. He had just come from a cricket practice when he auditioned for that role, and he said, you know what, I like it. Please continue to wear that. Nicolas Cage saves this goddamn movie.
Oh, can you imagine if it was that Kyle, what the fuck is his name, from Dune and Blue Velvet?
Rittenhouse?
The guy who plays the main character in the previous two movies.
You didn't take my bait, I like it.
Oh my god, that would have been horrible.
Yeah. So Nicolas Cage has been in 100 movies. This is like his first 10, somewhere in there. So it's very early in his career, and Mike was surprised to learn that his overreacting to things starts at a very young age for Mr. Cage.
Yeah, I thought that was a little later development. No, it's not.
It makes me wonder.
He bloomed early.
When I see him in shit like this, it makes me wonder, why did you cast him in National Treasure? What a down-to-earth fucking movie with a ridiculous premise. There's a scene that really emphasizes this fucking movie, and it's a scene where they are driving down in their Cadillac convertible, Las Vegas style, with the hot air. I'm mad. Anyway, Laura Dern cannot find music on the radio and only gets morbid news about how people are being dismembered and had sex with against their will. And she starts screaming, and Nicolas Cage in the back is like, darling, Peanut, what's that? Somebody find me some fucking music or I'm gonna go insane! And she leaps out of the car and starts having a panic attack in the field. Nicolas Cage backflips out of the car also, and they fucking have a rock and roll breakdown moment. And honestly, it captures the spirit of what I think David wanted in this movie better than any fucking thing else.
If more of this movie was that kind of scene, I would love this movie.
Oh, a little bit more over the top. This movie's opening 3 tracks of the OST write checks that it can't cash down the road.
And there are other scenes in this movie that I like, but I have to say I want them in a different movie. The scene with the car crash, where they come across this these 2 dead men in a car
and dying woman,
and this woman that's walking
shock
around, and she has a fatal head wound, and she doesn't realize it, and she's looking for her purse and freaking out that her mom's gonna find out, and she starts poking at her exposed brain and going, there's something sticky in my hair.
Ew.
I really liked that scene.
That was really haunting.
I want it in a different movie.
And it's very not well spaced, but very spaced apart scenes that fall on 2 spectrums. One spectrum. On one end, you get that sticky brain exposed shock car crash death scene, sold separately, and you get this other scene, which is a failed bank robbery with Willem Dafoe that ends with a shootout. But David Keith Lynch is not satisfied with a mere shootout. He would like, you're making the face. He would like Willem Dafoe to accidentally fall on his gun and blow his brain and head clean off of his neck,
spinal cord included.
And I'm just waiting for this thing. David is filming the scene like the landlord for a candidate who has forgotten to pay rent for 2 months. He says, "Here's $5,000." Well, bam! I can't play any of this footage because it's impossible to find. Really violent, really horny, so horny. Oh, yeah. I do not like Laura Dern talking about her own titties. That woman is a paleobotanist. You treat her with respect.
I can't watch Jurassic Park again without seeing her titties.
The worst thing about Lynchpin, where we watch and review every David Lynch film in chronological order, is that I ran out of Jurassic Park jokes really fast.
Oh, I'm just going to keep thinking of... Laura Dern looks very nice in this movie.
Yeah, she does.
And every time I'm going to see her in Jurassic Park movies from now on, I'm going to see that. And, oh, no.
This movie was made 3 movies before Jurassic Park, and my headcanon is that this is how she got the job, and good for her. I don't know if that's true.
Don't know.
There's a universe where this is the reason she got the job as Ellie Sattler. Good job. This is also a movie That proves we can't grade any movie ever on a pass fail. Because if you ask me, would you recommend this movie?
I would.
Yeah, I would too.
Yes, I would.
I talked to Mike in between.
I would also recommend a 6-pack at the same time.
You guys, we're already full on drunk movies that day. I would. Alcohol would not have helped them. I would get bored and frustrated, and I would leave. I guess I would recommend it, but the what the fuck moments don't come out like a faucet; they come out like a honey drip. You get bored and you start talking about better things you could be doing, and then Willem Dafoe blows his head off. I think I'm time to wrap up, unless you have some hidden fun fact you'd like to discuss.
Nope.
That's 5 down, I think.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's 5 down. He made 10 movies, but as we stated at the top of the episode, guys, we don't feel comfortable reviewing his Twin Peaks movie, which he made after this, because
None of us have seen Twin
we
Peaks.
don't have the material. We feel like a podcast will be a waste of your time as we attempt to guess what the hell is going on. We would like to join you. We invite you, Nay, in 1 week to discuss his next film, 1997's Lost Highway. Oh, neo-noir is like the 7th word in the Wikipedia article.
This guy likes crime stories.
I think he might. This one I've heard is very spooky.